Hey there, Emma. This is Mr. Hall. I just want to see if I can help you out on this problem. I'm not 100% sure I know what they want for the boxes, but I do understand kind of their process for the problem. They're wanting partial quotients. And what that means is, instead of trying to divide 859 by 3, you're going to break 859 into smaller chunks, like 600, 90, 90, 60, and 18. When you break them into these smaller chunks, you can do this basically in your head. So 600 divided by 3 would be 200. 90 divided by 3 would be 30. 90 divided by 3 would be 30. 60 divided by 3 would be 20. 18 divided by 3 would be 6. It's wanting you to break it apart, and all this still, the idea is that you want to get as close to this 859 to start with. Now, what's going to happen is you are going to take, the biggest number I could think of that is divisible by 3 out of 859 was 600. So basically what I did is I did 600 divided by 3, and that was 200. That's going to be my first part of my quotient. So I put 200 over in the box. 3 times 200 would be the 600, okay? Next, I did 90, would be the next biggest I could think of. You could also have done 150 here, but I was trying to make it fit into the, where it gave you 5 blanks. So I think they just give you a certain amount of blanks to work with, but you could have done 150 here. I did 90. So 90 divided by 3 was 30, or you could say 3 times 30 was 90. All right, so that's my next part of my quotient. Remember, these are partial quotients. So this is the first part of my quotient. This is my next. Same thing here. 90 divided by 3 was 30, or 3 times 30 is 90. So that's my next part of my partial quotient. Then I move down. 3 times 20 is 60. So 20 is going to be my next partial quotient. And then last I had 18 was the next biggest thing I could think of left over. And that is 3 times 6. Okay, so as I went down through here, I'm actually adding these up. I was actually kind of adding them up in my head, but I went on and wrote them down so that I knew how close I am getting to this original 859. So 600 plus 90 was 690. 690 plus 90 was 780. 780 plus 60 was 840. 840 plus 18 was 858. Now, this is the closest I can get to 859 without going over when you're dividing by 3. 858 is divisible by 3 perfectly. It won't have a remainder, but we need 859. So I subtracted them. 859 minus 858, that leaves me 1 left over. So that's my remainder 1. So, the boxes. I went back and forth on the boxes for a little bit, but based off of one of your answers that I saw in there, I think they want the partial quotients to be written out. So, remember, mine were 200, 30, 30, 20, and 6. So, I wrote those in those boxes. So, those will go in those blanks on that longer box that you showed me. When I added those together, I got 286. Okay, that is my actual quotient, my answer to my division problem for this problem. And then I had a remainder, will go in that last box, and my remainder was 1. So that's where your 1's going to come from, okay? Again, these can be different. I could have done 200, 200, or I could have done 300 here. I could have there's a lot of different numbers. As long as I can divide it by 3, and it will take a big chunk off this 858 or 859, that's fine. Okay, so I kind of chose these numbers just because that was the easiest numbers I could think of to break apart this 859. Okay, and again, you're trying to get as close to it as possible, and whatever's left over is your remainder. All right, I hope that helps.